All right. Let's see, we have sound. Waiting for the video feed to begin. Confirm we have video feed. Okay, we have video feed. I'm going to confirm that this is going live as well on X. Okay, we're live on X as well. Yeah, make sure that live as well on. Just wait a second. Oh, da-dum. Da-da-dum. All right, we are live on all three. We're live through YouTube, live through Rumble, and live through X right now. Hello and welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and today this evening we have a topic that I have been waiting to cover for some time. You know that in this channel I have been doing this kind of switch, pivot to a more social commentary channel, and politics included. And not only talking about politicians' body language, but also talking about, well, what is going on. And I feel compelled to talk about this for many reasons. I have already said that, yes, I have many friends in the United States, and around 1 million friends to be exact, which is my monthly audience in the US, in all my channels. So I think I need to give you my 2 cents about this. It is no secret by this point what is my political stance. I could be center right, but compared to Kamala Harris, I'm like a far right extremist. Like, I know that Hugo Chavez would have a word for me that I repeat that with my friends. It's very funny. But Kamala Harris, oh my God, where do I begin? I have a video pending about Kamala Harris body language because it's odd that she's like a different person from 10 years ago. I'm gonna do a brief intro about that because I remember her, the first time I saw Kamala Harris, I think it was 2018. It was on the Kavanaugh hearings, and she got another attitude. She got another way of addressing solid body language. She was sharp in her questions. I said, okay, I like her delivery. I said that back then. I'm spoiling that video, by the way, that body language analysis video, and there are older videos still of her in which she is in a panel and she is talking fluently and has a nice way of speaking. I don't know what changed in 2020. It just went in August 2020 when she was named to run with Biden for the elections. That was a different person. But that is not what we are talking about today. We're talking about Kamala Harris policies, and the most important policy that I want to talk about is this one. When I am president, it will be a day one priority to bring down prices. I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging and corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. All right, and I have said it many times that this looks absolutely sounds exactly what Hugo Chavez did in Venezuela back then, and of course has never worked. In fact, it has been tried to be applied on the United States in the early 1970s. Nixon made this what is called the Nixon shock. All this, I've been reviewing all this. I would like to give you Venezuelan examples. But it's much easier if we use examples from the same country, from the United States. So Nixon did this 90-day freezing of everything, prices, wages, everything. and it did not go as expected. It never does. It's something that never works. Why do politicians promise things that every single economist and every single other person who has been through this thing knows that it's not going to work? For the sole reason that for the average citizen, it sounds absolutely good on paper. Oh, this is big corporations engage in illegal price gouging. The president should step in and send the Department of Justice after them. That's what they have to do. More government control. Sounds nice in paper, right? But, well, I'm going to explain why it doesn't work. And also, Kamala Harris, lowering costs for Americans is one of our campaign's top priorities. I am heading to Raleigh, North Carolina to speak about how we will continue building an economy where every American has the freedom to thrive. See you soon. And my question is, Kamala. I like to pronounce her name the way it is. I apologize that sometimes I mispronounce her name because in Spanish, in Espanol, we say Kamala. Kamala. That's how we say it in Spanish. We stress the middle syllable. Kamala she's implying that she wants to continue building an economy. She's saying it right here, right? Continue building an economy where every American has the freedom to thrive. But at the same time, she says that the prices have gone out of control. My question is, during whose administration the prices have gone out of control? During the Biden-Harris administration. And you might be saying, Jesus, but that is the businesses, that is the corporations that are just raising their prices without any sort of control. Well, I'm going to tell you something about the United States, or at least the United States that I know. Okay, of course, I do not know the whole state or condition or circumstance of the United States. I will give you my best approach to this. I have always seen the United States as a competition between businesses. Capitalism. You have 10 businesses that make pizzas, and every pizza business, whether it's a big business like Domino's or a small business like one single pizza parlor at your local street, they are competing. And of course, when you compete, one of the ways to compete is in price. It's usually the way that you compete, and to outcompete in service or in quality or in price, sometimes one or two businesses try to compete the other way on quality, and they just raise their prices in a way that they distinguish themselves from the competition because they have the highest prices. That's a way to do things, okay, like the Rolex way, okay, but that is not common. So in essence, if the prices are going up, it's usually not because the businesses are just gouging the prices, because if I am a pizza business and I raise the prices too far, I will be instantly outcompeted in price by my competitors. That would not be a sane decision. Oh, and you could say, oh, but they are just evil. They just have this secret meeting in a room every Saturday night, and they all agree to raise prices at the same time. No, that doesn't happen. That simply doesn't happen. No, they are literally competing one another. That is the essence of United States capitalism, and price is one of the things that they compete on. But before I elaborate on that, I'm going to point the following, that even CNN admits that Kamala's plans for price controls has been a disaster everywhere. Like, who can propose this? I did not answer that question. When does a candidate propose measures like this? That is pure and simple populism. Appeal to populism, to the emotions of the people. People want the prices down. They are struggling to get to the end of the month. Americans are struggling to pay the bills. Just tell them that you're going to lower the prices. That's that simple. It is not that simple. It can be simple, but the outcome is catastrophic. Every single time. It has been tried in Mexico, it has been tried in Venezuela, thank you, has been tried in Brazil, has been tried in Argentina. Always the same result. What is the result, you might ask? Oh, I want my pizzas to be cheaper. Okay, then Kamala Harris comes and we will control pizza prices everywhere. Everywhere. What is going to happen? Pizzas are going to disappear. What do you mean disappear, Jesus? They are going to literally disappear. You will not have any more pizzas. I'm going to elaborate on that in a minute. We have seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before. Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union. It leads to shortages and would cause a lot of harm. How does price control cause shortages? First, let's talk about the inflation. Government spending is one thing. The government spends money to fund projects and to fund wars overseas as well. Can I talk about this? You know that YouTube is my main channel. We are live on Rumble. If something happens to my YouTube channel, we are on X and Rumble as well. But the government spending means that they are free to print as many money as they want, as much money as they want. And the more money is, you can imagine the map of the United States or any country, and you can see the circulating money. If you have 100 pizzas, imagine that you have 100 pizzas and you have $100 running in the country. It means that every pizza will have more or less a value of $1. But if you have $100,000, okay, running in the country, you have too much money running in the country, it means that there will be many people trying to, well, with money in hand, wanting to buy the same amount of pizzas. The amount of pizzas hasn't changed, all right? We still have 100 pizzas, but we have many more people with money in hand because there's a lot of circulating money on the street, okay? And this is literally controlled by the government. So what happens is that with so many people with so many money, well, the price of the pizzas are going to go up. It's something that is just natural. It just rises to the amount of money that is circulating. That is natural. Of course, there can be a speculation, and I have to mention, I don't remember the exact tragedy that was in the United States. I don't think it was Hurricane Katrina, but it was one hurricane. I think it was the worst case of speculation in the sense that it was like this gas station that was charging some outrageous price, like $80 for a gallon of mineral water. And I said, wait a minute, you are crazy. People that really needed water, people that were really scrambling for water for their family to drink, was this real catastrophic and emergency, and someone was profiting out of it. I mean, it doesn't matter how capitalist you are. There are moments you say, this is just wrong. And that was just wrong. I haven't been able to find, but I remember that. It was at this gas station. It was like something outrageous. As I said that, I am not saying that you're going to give away the water, but do not gouge the price like that. It's inhuman. Even if we know that the more product is required, the more people need a product, the price will also rise. But if you're in a catastrophe, man, that is a bit, that is not the right way. There are levels to this, but you already know why prices rise if government spends too much money, imprints too much money. So, what happens when the government, we also have the Washington Post, by the way. You remember that the Washington Post is left-leaning, like hard left-leaning opinion. When your opponent calls you communist, maybe don't propose price controls. Even the Washington Post is saying it. They are trying to warn, and some Democrats are saying, what are you talking about? Nobody can control the price. It's going to be catastrophic. And why is catastrophic? Why controlling prices is catastrophic? Let's say that Kamala says that you cannot raise prices on pizzas. All right? You have to keep your pizzas at the same price. But the problem is that it's not only the pizzas, the finished product. It's not like you have a magic oven that the pizza comes out of the oven, like the pizza appears from a portal of pizzas. No, you have to buy the flour, the cheese, the tomato sauce, or the tomatoes if you want to make the sauce yourself, the pepperoni, all the ingredients. And we said that there's already a lot of money on the United States running. So it's not only the pizzas that will be affected by that. It's the entire supply chain that is going to be affected by that. The flour is going to go up. The tomatoes are going to go up. The pepperoni is going to go up. The cheese is going to go up. Everything is going to go up. It's normal. So the pizza cannot be at the same price as everything is going up. So maybe Kamala says the pizza price will be established at this cap. All right, but when I buy the flour to my purveyor, to where I buy the flour, or the tomato or the cheese, they are charging me full price because only the pizza prices have been controlled, but not the cheese price. So I have to maybe even lose money buying the cheese to keep offering cheese pizza, right? You understand? It's an entire supply of things that come, and you pretend to make like the ending product price control the ending product. You cannot do that, because at some point the pizza guy says, I'm operating at a loss. What does it mean? That it costs me more to make a pizza. I have to invest $2.75. And Kamala told me that I cannot sell the pizza for more than $2.50. So I'm actually losing money. I'm losing a quarter with each pizza. I know that I'm thinking in terms of 80s prices, but bear with me with this. So they are operating at a loss. So the pizza guy says, I cannot operate like this. He has two options. Either he has to close up shop, he has to just go bankrupt. I'm going to close my pizza restaurant and dedicate to something else that is not regulated. Or enter the pizza black market. You begin to sell your pizzas. Hey, I have some pepperoni pizza here. You want some pepperoni pizza here? And you begin to sell your pizzas in the black market. But two options. You either close your shop or sell them in the black market. So what happened? What happened in Venezuela? Let's ask the question. What happens in Venezuela? I can't believe I don't have that slide here. It's not possible. I'm sure I had included. Here it is. But Jesus, You told us that in Venezuela, Hugo Chavez controlled prices. And at some point, businesses said, yes, we are operating at a loss. We cannot operate like this. So we are going to close our businesses. So when they began closing their businesses, or saying that they could no longer operate at a loss, Hugo Chavez said, well, I'm going to expropriate your businesses. The state is going to absorb them or buy your business from you it's more like stealing the business from you, because what Chavez paid the business owners was never a fair price. I was there, I lived through it. And then Chavez grabbed those businesses and put them in bureaucrats' hands. His pulse at the government, his pulse at the military, el cogollo, the little group, the petit comité, you know what I'm talking about. And what happened with those businesses? Every single one was ran into the ground, because you were putting them in hands of people who had no idea how to run those businesses. And that's when things began to go wrong in Venezuela. Another thing that happened is that now you understand why they are. Sorry, I didn't put that. I forgot to put this slide right here. Another thing that happens is that why are there shortages? Well, there are shortages precisely because businesses are not willing to operate at a loss. I am not going to make pizzas. So you enter the pizza restaurant. Sorry, we just made 2 pizzas today. They were already sold. Okay, if we make more pizzas, I begin to lose money. So you begin to see that everywhere you go, there's a shortage of pizza. And if you want a pizza, you have to stand in line, sometimes for hours, to be able to buy a pizza. That's how price controls destroy the economy of both small and big businesses and create the shortages. And now you know how inflation is caused by the amount of money that is running in the country, and it's not that easy to fix. I will try. I am not an economist, but I will try to propose a solution to that as well. Now, what happened? Why? I'm going to mention some other policies of Kamala. I am from Venezuela. Header number 1 is asking, where is Jesus from? I am from Venezuela. We could freeze price on unessential foods. I wish that was the case. And let's see that let's see that we talk about tomato. We're talking about tomato. Let's say that tomato is an essential food. But again, it's not like the tomato magically appears at the supermarket. The tomato is planted and harvested, and to plant and harvest it, you need machinery and you need fertilizers, and you need the truck that brings that to the supermarket, and you need to maintain the truck and all that. Imagine all those machines need maintenance and parts and stuff. All those little steps are affected by the same inflation. So you could say, well, I'm going to fix the price of tomatoes in the supermarket. What can go wrong? It's just tomatoes. It's not pizza, it's tomato. Okay, but the tomato did not magically appear in the supermarket, at the supermarket. It went from maybe another state, which spent months in that process until it reached the supermarket. All that little steps, all that little chain are affected by the same price. So maybe you say we are going to control tomato prices, but if you don't control the machinery, spare parts, and all that supply chain parts, then the tomato producer will not be able to produce the tomatoes because he will not be able to sell the tomato at the price that he needs to sell it because of general inflation. I'm trying to, I understand. I did not understand it like 30 years ago. I was oblivious to all this. I remember when Chavez was going to be president, I said, that is impossible. He will never be able to walk the front door at Miraflores. Rest is history. But the problem is that's how economy works. It's everything that you see around you in terms of consumption has gone through a process that involves people, machinery, distribution, everything. And all those steps have a price. And if you only control the resulting step or the resulting product, businesses are going to go out of business. They're not going to produce tomatoes, and tomatoes are literally going to disappear. That's how it works. If you have any other questions, please, I'm open to any questions. The rich period of Venezuela created Chavez and Maduro. I agree. We should explain. There's one video that maybe you have watched on my channel. That's how the Venezuelan government steals elections. I know that I can get into trouble saying that expressly, but that is literally the name of the video. So if you have time, go watch it, and that's how you understand that's how they have been in power for so long. So we have this agenda, thanks to Simon Ateva for summarizing this on X. Populist agenda. Harris' agenda is aggressively populist, focusing on government. Populist and socialists are two different terms. Socialist is like the implementation of the helping the people with socialist policies, and populist is trying to appeal to the emotions of the people. All right, there's a bit of a difference here. Okay, 6,000 child tax credits. She proposes a 6,000 child tax credit for the first year of a baby's life, a significant increase from the current 2,000 credit. I understand that J.D. Vance also mentioned something like this, up to the tune of $5,000 child tax credit. So maybe they are aligned on this. Again, there's a tax credit. It means that that will be deduced from your from the taxes, right? In the case of Chavez, he was a bit more aggressive in our case, because I'm going to try to explain. I'm going to talk about all these policies, Kamala's policies. Medical debt elimination. Harris supports eliminating medical debt, just like that, for millions of Americans, potentially through federal funds. Potentially through federal funds. What does it mean? That the government is going to put in the money about that. The government is going to spend more money, in this case, to eliminate medical debt. I can understand. Many of you, my friends in the United States, will be glad about this and will be relieved about this. That is understandable. I understand that perfectly. I have been in your situation as well. But I need you to understand that someone in the end is going to pay for it. Okay? This is something that you need to realize. Someone is going to pay for it. And most probably it's going to be yourself with your taxes. And what's the problem with taxes? That we know that how bad is the government at at the administration part of what they do with your taxes, especially when they, let's say, dump more than 100 billion, to be conservative, more than 100 billion in a war overseas. 100 billion. So you tell me, I don't know, you could say, but Jesus, we need to help Ukrainians, all right? That's your point of view. I am just saying that is part of government spending, that they are passing a bill to use your taxes to spend money on a war overseas. Maybe you agree with that, maybe you don't agree with that, but it's government spending. We are talking about economics here. It's pure and simple economics. So where does that money come from? In this case, well, you got, you used to have it's bonds. I'm very bad at that part, but let's say that taxes is a big part of it. All that comes from our taxes. I always see people saying, price gouging ban. Her plan includes a first ever ban on grocery and food price gouging, with potential fines for stores imposing excessive price hikes. Again, it is a chain. Again, I am not saying, and I gave you an example, I'm not saying that there are not speculators, speculating businesses out there, evil business. There always are. But if they gauge the price too high, other businesses are going to outcompete them at pricing. That's how capitalism works. That's how the competition works, right? But no, they are not. All of them, big corporation and small businesses, are reuniting all of them in one Saturday to all of them hike the prices at the same time. That doesn't happen. Housing subsidy at $25,000 federal subsidy, more money from the government for first-time home buyers is proposed, aiming to expand housing access. As many are saying an X, what is the silliest part of this? That any house, any condo, any apartment, anything is gonna cost $25,000 more. And you say, are they just going to raise the prices? No, it's simply that you're injecting more money in the economy. The federal government, federal subsidy, is going to inject money in terms of a $25,000 subsidy for first-time home buyers. You're injecting more money in the economy. Again, you are adding gas to the fire. Number 6, prescription drug costs. Harris wants to cap prescription drug costs, including extending the $35 per month insulin cap to all Americans. Again, we're talking about health. Don't get me started on the health system in the United States of America, because that would be like a 10-hour live talking about that. And I'm going to maybe go over this because I would like to inform myself better about how the government, Obamacare, the insurance companies work. I don't have enough information to have an opinion about that. Well, you already know that if you have a capitalist approach to health, then you try to throw a wrench in drug costs. Well, it could have a disruption. It would be better if the actual cost of drugs is how to say that, maybe it's not a cap but subsidized. I think it's in Europe, many countries of Europe, the drugs are subsidized by the government. It's but you know that they have universal health care and it's open to everybody. I have talked about that for have universal health care, you need a high trust society, because when you have universal health care and people do not take care about their health, then, well, the system is going to be broken at some point or another. That's another topic that I could mention right now. It's obvious that big food, not Bigfoot, the legendary animal, human, I don't know, that is in the mountains. No, big food, like the big industry of food, has so many things that make people sick in the United States. that is baffling. All the things that are just open season for Americans to consume. And that actually makes them sick. And there's a lot of money at stake in there because you have big food making you sick, ill, and weak. And you have big pharma to sell you the drug to fix that. It's perfect. It's the perfect business. It's evil, but it's a lot of money. I don't know what else to tell you. I know that I already YouTube is like, what is he talking about? Make sure that he doesn't mention the V word. As soon as he mentioned the V word, take him down. But it is like that. It's like free healthcare for universal healthcare will be a great thing. But you cannot have universal healthcare if you have big food making everyone ill at the same time, because the system will implode in seconds. It will be like activating Skynet. Medicare negotiations. She plans to expand Medicare's ability to negotiate drug prices, which could save billions for taxpayers. Again, I have, in that regard, negotiations with Medicare, I have not enough information. I don't feel in the least prepared to talk about that topic. No new tax increases. Harris has committed not to raise taxes on Americans earning under $400,000 per year. In case you are curious, you would ask, then who is going to be taxed? Well, that is less than 1% of the United States population, whoever earns over $400,000 per year. Less than 1%. How much is going to be worth taxing that less than 1%? I don't know. But she guarantees that 99% of Americans are not going to pay more taxes. That's a promise. Make of that what you will. You know that they have been lying through their campaign. I made a video about the very fine people hoax that Kamala Harris camp has been repeating over and over again, that Donald Trump said that white supremacists were very fine people, which is a hoax that everybody knows is a lie. And Kamala Harris keeps saying it. So you have to take this with a huge rock of salt. Some Democrats are concerned about the fiscal sustainability of her proposals and her endorsement of tax cuts on tips. So less taxes for, no taxes for tips, no more taxes for everybody, but a lot of government spending. Where is that money coming from? And you could say, but Chavez did it right. Chavez used the money. Let me see. Use the money for its people. I'm going to tell you how socialism worked very well all the way until around 2009. Socialism worked amazing until 2009, more or less. In 2009, we got an oil barrel at $140. $140 an oil barrel. That was insane. Even if our production was not peak. This was our peak production. You see, this is crude oil exports. The moment that Hugo Chavez became president, those exports began going down, and they were not in their best place when oil peaked at $140. But Chavez had money to subsidize everything, to pay for everything. And how did he make sure to keep all that money? He made sure to keep all that money thanks to one move all the way back in 2003. 2003, just 4 years. That was, I think that was on his, this must have been at the start of his second second mandate, that he froze the ability of Venezuelans of buying dollars. We lost the right of free exchange of bolívares to dollars, okay, in 2003. So why did he do it? Because so many industries knew what was coming with Chavez, and they were just leaving the country in droves, going away and taking all the money with them. Bye-bye. We are just leaving the country. So Chavez imposed this restriction. No, you cannot exchange bolívares for dollars anymore. And that's how he got to keep a lot of those dollars. And that's why he was able, for example, to give this Venezuelan government launches massive new housing mission. I don't know how many times in Venezuela there has been a new housing mission. He called them that way, a mission. Oh, houses. The United States needs houses, right? Yes, but the United States also needs to close the southern border because they have a 25 million illegal immigrants problem right now. It's a lot of people, and yes, they need homes as well. How is it possible that even as recent as, I have another slide here, this one, thanks to Gabby Siegel on X, Maduro on June 20, 2024 announces he will build 3 million housing units. Kamala Harris, August 16, 2024 announces she will build 3 million housing units. You cannot make this up. Okay, copycat Kamala. See, when Kamala Harris is resorting to copy Nicolas Maduro, you know where things are going for the United States. This is bad. Now, what happened with those houses of the Misión Vivienda, the housing project of Hugo Chavez, was for many years? The key word here, there's a magic word in all these instances, which is corruption. Why is corruption a thing? It's very, very easy. You have a lot of money. You have this absurd amount of money. Remember the circulating money? Okay, we talk about having a lot of money. But he had it in dollars. And those dollars could not enter the economy freely because remember that since 2003, we Venezuelans could not change bolívares for dollars freely. We have a hard cap. Like we initially had just I don't know if it was $5,000 a year. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong because it was a really hard cap. Maybe I'm misremembering, but we didn't have freedom to exchange currency. So he has all this money and he says, well, I'm going to build houses. But again, as we were talking about fine finished products, the houses are not going to appear magically out of nowhere in the spot. Someone has to build them, a contractor. Maybe the contractor is hired by an enterprise. And those enterprise can be perfectly we're gonna sign this. I don't know how to say that in English. Licitación. It's like a permit to actually use this money. Okay. Okay. We run a contest, and this company wins the contest to build these houses. But it is not like the contest was fair because, oh yeah, that is my cousin Alfredo. Make sure to pick my cousin Alfredo. He builds great houses. He has built this. Oh yeah, Alfredo Marquez. He got the licitación. He wins the contest to build the houses, and he gets, I don't know, $10 million to build the houses. And what does cousin Alfredo do? He uses half the money to pay a vacation for himself and his family to, I don't know, all over the world. He uses like 2 million in gambling. And I don't know, finally uses like 1 million to build the houses with the cheapest materials he got. And he's got like the houses barely finished. They bring the reporters, oh, there's are the new houses. They have like this small tweaks that have to be done. They shake hands, they cut the stuff, and the houses like 6 months later are totally rubbish because they are just not built the right way because of this corruption. But I wouldn't say that this was, I want to be fair with this, because we also have in the 70s we had a lot of money with the same reasons that Nixon had to control prices at the start of the 70s. That's the same reason that propelled Venezuela into, well, being the fourth largest economy, I think, in the world or Latin America. It was something insane. It was so much money. And yes, we have, let's say, centrist left, just like Mr. Beast. Yes, just like Mr. Beast. Oh, my cousin, my friend, my girlfriend. Yeah, just like Mr. Beast. And in the 70s, under Carlos Andrés Pérez, it happened a lot because there was so much money. It's like someone said, I want to build a field of corn. All right, there you have money to build, to build, to, you know, whatever you do. It's like Civilization, the game Civilization. There goes you field of corn. Oh, but I messed up 1 year later. I messed up. Oh, my corn did not work. I used the wrong fertilizer. I messed up. I need more money. There was so much money. No question asked. How much money? How much more money do you need? Oh, I need another $1 million. There you go. There was no question asked. There was no need for questions. There was way too much money in Venezuela. It is baffling. You cannot really, you cannot really begin to comprehend how rich we were. I have trouble comprehending the amount of rich that we were in Venezuela back in the 70s. Now remember, we have this very wise man, Arturo Uslar Pietri, who had this, who mentioned this, I think it was Uslar Pietri who said had this initiative. It was sembrar el petróleo, like sowing the oil, in the sense that it's not like just living from the oil, but you had to just really invest the oil in something that was like more stable, like reinvest in a prosperous economy. But sadly, since those oil reserves were discovered in 1922, if I remember correctly, and Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. The only thing is that our oil is very heavy, has to be processed a lot, has to be mixed with other oils. Well, everyone wants a piece of the pie, but that's how socialism worked. Yeah, you could pay for badly built houses. You could pay for you could pay also subsidies for every new child that a woman had. Until 17 years old, you received like $60 a month. It's like, it was like that. I don't remember. I have this the housing mission. What's another mission? Chavez called them mission, but it was about having children. Then women began having children. Let's say that families started having children just because the government gave you a monthly allowance until the child was 17 years old. Every month for 17 years. The crazy thing is that it was established in 2011 while Chavez was still alive. And Maduro took it down in 2015. So you can imagine the people who had the children and did not have the subsidy after that, because, oil went down, everything went down. Socialism works if you have the money. If you don't have the money, it is not going to work. It's that simple. You can do everything that you want. You can do whatever you like, but no, it's not gonna work. Don't forget the empty shelves, Jesus. I will not forget the empty shelves. The nightmare of grocery shopping in Venezuela. I'm gonna tell you what was the moment that I knew that I had to leave my country. I remember that it was in March or April 2014. I know the year exactly. It was 1 year since Chavez had died. We're 1 year into Maduro's first presidency, and the food lines began. And in my limited knowledge of this dynamics, economics, but in my a bit more advanced knowledge in human nature, I said people could get used to this really quickly. And if people get used to it, it's game over. You get used to the food lines, it's game over. So that's the moment that I said I have to begin making things work to leave the country. And then I began to have, the constant harassment about my activism on social media that had been in 2012. I disappeared from social media in 2013, but they still got my number, so to speak. So it was a bad idea to just stay in the country. At any moment, I would have been disappeared in a basement. Not a good plan. So I thought that the best plan was to leave. In my case, many of my friends and family are still there, still trying to survive whichever way they can. And in Venezuela, I had to warn you one thing. I made your comments. I really appreciate that you have kept your comments respectful. That is the thing that I appreciate the most. I don't mind if you disagree with me in things. I could be wrong in especially when I talk about the United States. I could be wrong in some numbers and some policies in Venezuela, especially of 25 years ago. So you can point that out. As long as you do it respectfully, there's no problem. You have to understand one thing about Venezuela. I don't want to make this, we have like 5 minutes left. You have to understand one thing about Venezuela. You are going to see people online showing you like 5-star hyper luxury shops in Venezuela. People with Toyota 4Runner that costs like $80,000 or maybe more, because you have to make them bulletproof. It's a good idea in Venezuela. This magnificent stores, like high-end luxury, and you had grocery stores that are like Whole Foods, or maybe even more expensive than Whole Foods. I don't know what will be the equivalent in the UK, for example. All of that is real. All of that is absolutely real. Venezuela is like 2 countries in one in this moment. People are starving. It's like we talk about those numbers, like 99% of the population, 1% of the population. But there's so much money still circulating in Venezuela that you have all these investments. If If Venezuela is like that Guns N' Roses song, if you got the money, honey, we got your disease. That is for sure. Okay, but you have to provide for your own electricity, having a power plant. You have to provide for your own water, having your water well. You have to provide for your own security. You need to make your vehicles bulletproof. If you have money, you need to go in bulletproof vehicles. Maybe you have to pay for actual gangs to protect you. If you have the means, yes, you can subsist there, but most people don't have it. And it's not the idea of not being able to just have fair elections, not even having fair elections. And yes, the country is kidnapped by this narco tyranny. But we were talking about Kamala Harris. And I know that I'm going to get ahead of myself, but I needed to try you to understand what is my background, where I come from, and how do I know what's going to happen, how it works. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible so it is easier for you to understand that for, at least for the price stuff, priority to bring down prices, it's a bad idea. Now, I want to be clear with you. I know how politics works at the same time. And sometimes you know that politicians promise things that they don't actually act on them. And you know that passing a bill, you know that it is a process in the United States. That is the good thing. Okay, it's sure they want priority to bring down prices, but you're not an emperor or empress. You're gonna just flick your finger and you'll bring down prices. It doesn't work like that in the United States. So it could be that she's just bluffing with some populist promises to appeal to the population who has trouble paying the bills every month. And this is just a smoke screen to tell them, but she knows that this would never be really implemented. At the same time, don't you tell me that it's strange that she goes for this route, and even CNN calls her out, even the Washington Post calls her out on this. And I also made a video about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And we know that Tim Walz is not a moderate. The guy is not a moderate. And we know that Kamala Harris' dad was a Marxist teacher, Marxist professor. So we know where they come from. And I know this kind of people. And when I say this kind of people, I mean, let me see, where are you? This kind of people. I used to say, we had a saying in Venezuela, Venezuela is not Cuba. That's not going to happen to Venezuela ever. But it happened to us, the richest country for many, many years. My idea with these videos, I know that these videos are not going to be that popular on my Body Language Guy channel. Some of you are saying that I have completely changed the focus of my channel. I'm just attacking Kamala Harris. I should stay in my lane. Why am I supporting Donald Trump? Why am I like this? I should just stick to Body Language Guy. If you want entertainment, you can stay on the Royal Rogue. The Royal Rogue is going to be entertainment. It's going to be still entertainment. I'm updating my Scene Surgeon channel, more talking about entertainment culture, talking about Disney and all that stuff. Maybe that floats your boat. But here, the Body Language Guy is evolving into a more social and political commentary. Why? Well, for two things. The first one, I had to be clear with you. And I know that whoever is right now is listening because you really want to be here and you are a long-time watcher. I know it. one of the greatest struggles for me in the body language guy was finding topics, interesting topics to analyze, because not every video is worthy of analyzing from a body language perspective. You know that many times I analyze in terms of statement analysis, for example, what people say, or the circumstances, or the contradictions, as I've said, I have done in many ways in my recent analysis, more than the contradictions that people do to themselves, and they go beyond the body language thing. I have thought of rebranding my channel to something more generic, so to speak. That is a decision that I haven't made yet. This is an experiment. I want to still juggle with body language and human behavior, because that is something that is fascinating to me. And again, all of this is still human behavior, only that it's on a mass scale. So for the time being, I'm going to leave the Body Language Guy channel. I will still be doing body language analysis, but I want to talk about other topics. And you might have noticed as well that I'm making sure to make faster and quicker videos. Maybe the videos don't have the quality of, you know how I'm about quality of the start, but the difference is that at the start of this channel, one video took like 3 or 4 days to make, and it was so much work that I needed 1 day to recover. So it was like 5 days for a single video, and that it is not feasible, especially of how fast things go. At the same time, many of you know that my English has improved, and now I have the fluency to be able to do these lives, for example, or to record a video on the spot. And sometimes a video requires to be fast, to address that quickly, and that's what I'm doing now as well. You know that I've always been doing these experiments. My channel has been evolving in terms of making more complex lives, more complex topics, other topics that I remember that I usually cover politics on my channel, and since I usually cover celebrities, then the politics was not that welcome. But it's like speaking about gossip and celebrities, it was turning my brain into mush, right? It's like feeling that you are in this meeting or this party, this gathering of friends, and you are in the boring side of the table, right? And you see on the far end of the table, people are enjoying this conversation. The popular ones are there. Then I'm not saying that gossip is not fun. You remember the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial that was that was really fun for me. I wish I had the fluency that I have right now, but every step at a time. So this is the moment that I decided to open up a bit of my topics and be more open about the topics that I want to talk about, because they need to be addressed. As I was telling you, it's a sign of the times. I mentioned that on the live that I just did with the Roger Rogue. You see a video of Ricky Gervais, and Ricky Gervais was saying that he didn't want to become political or be talking about politics because he despised politics. And I can understand him. It's a world that is it's like the show House of Cards. It's just like that. I can understand, but I had never seen Ricky Gervais in with that attitude, right? He was really like down, like worried, like wary. I'm wary of all this. I hate this. And that is a sign. That is a sign that he knows he doesn't want to talk about it, but he has at least to mention it. Maybe I don't have that luxury because I am not a comedian like Ricky Gervais, and I'm not even 100th of a fraction of how famous he is. But it's like I analyze people. I like to connect dots. I need to aim for the big leagues. And so many of you have asked me over and over again, and you have said these exact words. You're wasting your time and your abilities with those stupid topics. You have to go for the big leagues. And yes, it's complex. It's complex because you realize that everything is connected. It's not just the United States. It's the UK, the situation in the UK. And both are connected by illegal immigration. And Canada is affected by illegal immigration as well. And Venezuela has to do with that illegal immigration, as I made a video a couple days ago. And so I say, I have a vision and I have a perspective. No, perspective is the word of what is happening. And my idea is try not to be fear mongering. You could say, oh, I have been told that you're just fear mongering about Kamala Harris. No, I'm trying to warn you. I'm trying to give you all the examples of how history has unfolded so many times before, so that you can judge for yourself. And again, I need to abide by my own values, freedom being the most important one. You are free to vote for whoever you want. And in a more metaphysical way, those metaphysical things that I would like to talk about in my locals account, but they are maybe more personal philosophy that don't fit in the Royal Rogue, don't fit in the Sin Surgeon, don't fit here in the Body Language Guy, but I had my locals account. It's like, in many ways, maybe I am too small of an actor to make a real change. But the change that I cannot make is a macro change. Like there's this huge tendency. I'm just a man, and we're talking about a country of millions. The effect that I can is minuscule. But there's something that I can do. There's something that I promise myself, that this is skills, this set of skills, like Liam Neeson would say, that God gave me. I need to use them for good. I cannot make a difference at a macro level, but I can make a difference at a micro level, at a personal level. And you know, my empeño, my drive to give you tools to think better, to assess your own situation better, to be able, no matter what happens, you have the tools to sort out whatever will happen right now or in the future. So that's maybe being a bit more philosophical, in the sense that maybe I cannot change what is going to happen in November, but I can change, or I can give you tools that how can you react to whatever is going to happen. And things are happening so fast that no, I cannot afford myself to make one video every 4 days. I need to make videos faster. And that's why I'm making 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5, 4 videos a day in all my channels. Because that's what we need. That is my promise. That is what I think that I can bring to the table. And that's why I'm grateful of having you here, my body language buddies and my Royal Rogues and all my friends all over the world. Oh my God. I'm really thankful. I've tried to keep an eye on your comments, and this is something that I really appreciate of you, keeping your comments respectful. Let me read your super chats. Oliver, grocery store companies are not currently making increased profits, even though prices of groceries have gone up. Thanks for discussing this, Jesus. And yes, and Kamala wore a 62K necklace to ask for donations. Yeah, bad move. Who does she remind of? She reminds me of someone. I don't know. She reminds me of someone else. Biology babe, if we freeze prices, no one makes money, no one produces the product, basic economics, products disappear. That's something. The problem is, I understand something, because I have been in that state as well. When you are in a survival state, you have absolutely no way of you cannot sleep well. For instance, that's the first thing. If you don't sleep well, you cannot think straight. And if you have this vicious cycle, you are stressed, anxious, and because you don't know if you will be able to pay the bills, you are in this survival mode. You don't sleep well, you cannot think well, you don't know how to get out of that. I have been there, and in that state you couldn't care less about any sort of economics or none of that. You just want someone to fix anything about your life. So if someone comes and says, I'm going to bring prices down, that sounds perfect, I will take it. That is the problem. That is a populist way of earning votes. But I can understand that many people in the United States are in that survival mode. And one has to be empathic at the same time. I really try to keep it real on X. You know that I can be a troll as well. I can be a troll, and you cannot out-troll me. But that is not the way. That is not the way, because there's people that are actually struggling. And people really need an explanation. Let me know why I shouldn't vote for the lady that is promising to lower prices. I understand that situation because I have been there. I have been in survival mode, and I will never forget that state. So it's never a simple problem. It's always have some degree of complexity. Yeah, Sammy, as we were talking, make us sick with fake food, take us out with the meds with side effects that include death, pop control, yes. What can I tell you? Mass deportations will fix the housing crisis. Yes, and someone was, I was a bit, let's say, I had doubts about the logistics, but it seems like the logistics are quite simple after all. And Oliver, thank you again for your super chats, Oliver. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. I remember a version of that, a saying that says, nicotine men create good times create weed men create hard times create nicotine man. But again, you smoke whatever you want. Again, you're free to do so. Denise super chat from Denise Vetrino. Denise Vetrino and Sammy M79 again. America needs common sense policies. Trump 2024. I'm going to tell you something that if you're watching me, if you're still watching me, well, thank you again for staying this long. I know that it can be a bit stressed in that. Oh, it's in November. We November are the elections, and then 4 more years, and that constantly living in the future, that constantly looking forward to the future. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? How we'll be able to react to that? That is not healthy. That's not healthy at all. I am not saying that you should not be aware of what's going on. You should be aware of what's going on. At some point, I tried to be a complete bohemian, not read any kind of news. That is not sustainable in the long run, especially when you need to adapt to the circumstances, and you need to know the circumstances and need to be aware of what's going on. That the same reason that I was born in Venezuela, it was like gave me that you are never too sure of what's going to happen. So maybe I'm a bit paranoid because of that. But that paranoia about the future, you need to control it. It has to be, maybe it's not control the world, the word that I use, but that's one of the reasons why I repeat the words love and bliss. Of course, love is something that overcomes everything. And one of the reasons that I believe that we are here is to learn how to love one another. That's a part of my Christian beliefs. And many of you already know that my beliefs are quite complex. Again, that's one thing that I could share on my Locals account, Locals community. But it's like bliss comes from realizing that the very fact that you're breathing is a miracle in itself. That the very fact that you open your eyes in the morning is a miracle in itself. That the mere fact that laughter exists is a miracle. But that's why I tell you so many times that we need to laugh more. That's why I try. That's one thing that we Venezuelans have, that we make a joke about everything. Maybe that's the reason that we even make jokes about our situation with tyranny. Well, that's an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. But we are surrounded by miracles, and we are in many ways something that is awesome. And I've said, from my atheist period, even if you don't believe in God, having command of this magnificent flesh robot out of just randomness in the universe, because that is the only way that we will be here if there's no God, that is a miracle in itself. Okay? But I like to think that we need to think about this, about our daily miracles. Daily miracles. Not what's going to happen tomorrow, not what's going to happen in November, not what's going to happen in 4 years. Who's going to be the candidate in 4 years? If it's not, no. It's not. Focus on today. And on that divine energy pumping in your veins, pumping in your blood, that sacred substance that is inside every single one of us. And you know it because we have spoken about it at large in other lives. So again, let's see, it's one super chat. I said I didn't want to make it this very long, and we are already 20 minutes. Denise, we only have 80 days to voting day. You're on the right path, Jesus. You may influence the undecided voter with some truths that matter. Yes, I could. Because I wish, as I'm telling you, I wish that someone had talked to me like this back in 1998. And no, I did not vote for Hugo Chavez. But again, I did not vote against him either. So I did not exercise my, many Venezuelans did not exercise our right to vote. And that's what we got. But maybe that's something I can change. Veronica Olson, oh my God, Veronica. Veronica has an amazing channel. Make sure to follow her and subscribe to her channel. I am always amazed when the USA are trying to sell a romantic ideas of socialism to someone who was born in Soviet Union and stood in the foot long lines for the loaf of bread. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, I know in many ways so many things are romanticized. That is the perfect word. That is the perfect word. Romanticized ideas. But that's the problem. Ideas. When you put them into practice, well, reality hits you in the face. My bottom language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the bottom language guy, and yes, I will be making every crazy topic that comes to my head with absolutely no template or rule. Let's see what sticks. Let's see what you like. Let's see what we can agree on or disagree on, as long as we do it respectfully and have a good time. Please take care. I love every single one of you. Stay safe. And remember, much love and bliss. Bye-bye.